Last night on The Daily Show, Jon Stewart took Trump to task over what Trump accomplished and some of the terrible things he did and the lies he's told during his first 100 days of his second term. And in particular, he focused on the trade war, which has done like the most measurable damage to businesses as well as regular people, their retirement accounts. And so he played a bit of the video of Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, saying, quote, "In game theory, it's called strategic uncertainty. So you're not going to tell the person on the other side of the negotiation where you're going to end up." A reference to the fact that the trade war stuff, the tariffs, it's just changing every single day. It's chaotic. And then Jon says, "I'm pretty sure in game theory, you're supposed to tell the person on your side where they're going to end up so they don't freak the F out. Or maybe it's all bull S and Trump launched trade war without any of the pre-planning and preparation that needed to be done. And Bessent has to go along with it because he's in the service of an impulsive man baby that you have to lie to so he doesn't turn his fire hose of vindictiveness onto you," which is very similar to the way we've talked about it. There's nothing about Scott Bessent that would make you believe he likes any of this trade war stuff. It's bad for business, and he is basically an LLC turned into roughly human form. That's all he is. But he can't be honest. So many people in the Trump movement cannot be honest. They lie to you to keep their position, their influence, their money, or not even their money in this case, because Scott Bessent is undoubtedly losing large amounts of money. Many millionaires and billionaires are. But I want to give you just a little bit more of Jon Stewart before we discuss. He said Trump is not only not the best negotiator, he is maybe the worst negotiator, and I agree with that. It took the people 250 years of striving to live up to a constitutional republic and rule of law, painstaking equity that you are squandering. That is the crux of American exceptionalism. Our brand is not strategic uncertainty, and you are not the keeper of our pot of gold. You are a temporary leprechaun. The more enamored you are with your authoritarian whims, the more that you turn our shining city on a hill into just another ordinary, despot-led, sea-level S-hole. And I agree with that. And by the way, you're only a temporary leprechaun sort of like hanging around the pot of gold. That's the sort of like imagery and rhetoric that makes Jon Stewart as good as he is. But I agree. And we can bring up some of the stats of the first 100 days. Viviana, I want to give you a chance to talk about these 100 days, what you make of it. What's been going on?
It's been a little bit more frightening than I thought, and I expected it to be similar to what it is. I agree. He is not a good businessman. He has shown that for his whole entire career. And yet we are kind of subscribing to this idea that whatever he says is fact. You know, I have a background in entertainment journalism, Jon. And this,
I know.
and early 2000s, I saw that actual news and entertainment journalism are mixing. And now we have a reality star as a president. So this has been in the works for a while. And it's sort of the zeitgeist of where we are as well in entertainment, social media, influencers. I mean, Marissa Tomei was selling some sort of menopause drink today. And I'm like, how are other actors gonna compete with an Oscar winner? And she's amazing. I'm like, I'm not even menopausal and I'm drinking the tea. This is where we are today, where it's about entertainment. It's about following somebody that makes us feel a certain way. And for whatever reason, Trump tickles the fancy of a lot of people. And they want to believe that they can too have a gold toilet. And then they can, this Horatio Alger theory and pushing the American exceptionalism ideology. We want to believe it. Me, I'm not one of them, but we as a collective, I think society, and I will say a majority of people. I mean, the fact that TikTok had that, little warning when it was about to go down, and it said, "But President Trump is trying real hard, and President Trump saved." I mean, if that didn't scream propaganda to everybody, then we are asleep. And I talked to my nephews who are 15, 16 years old. I'm like, "Didn't you think that was kind of weird?" And they were like, "Yeah, like it seemed fake." So we have to start waking our youth to what is real and what isn't, because the entertainment and the journalism and the news and the facts are gone. And we admit that this is commentary. This is political commentary. We're not just reporting the facts, we're giving our opinions. We have to start separating the two. And I'm afraid that as a society, we're not there. We just want to feel good. And Trump makes people's anger feel justified and good. And so they want to believe it blindly. Nobody wants to do their homework. Nobody wants to read the Constitution, except, the nuts and bolts nerd who she likes. What's her name? She's not. I'm a nerd. I like facts. Okay.
Yeah, seems like it. Anyway, yeah, no, you're totally right. I mean, and I'll end on this. It's the reason why the media side of this and the political, the ideological side is so utterly asymmetric. If you're on the right, if you're a regular person, you subscribe to the right, you're part of MAGA or whatever, you watch their shows and everything, nothing challenges you. Everything's easy. You're awesome. You're literally superior for everything that you were born as or whatever. You never have to think of anyone other than yourself. Every dark impulse you have is awesome and you should be celebrated for it. And that can be very appealing to people whose lives are very difficult. We don't do that, especially on the Damage Report, but generally on this side of the thing. We have to think about people other than ourselves. We have to often think about people other than ourselves way more than we think about ourselves. And we do have to try to learn and stretch ourselves, improve and all that. And that is, I think, hopefully appealing to people who care, and it's necessary for anything to change, but it's not as appealing when life is hard. And that's why I appreciate everyone in the audience.